I will just give it another couple of minutes here, let everybody come aboard who's coming aboard. Um, I noticed on my LinkedIn feed when I posted this, we had 63 people register, which was great. Just wanted to let you know that if you aren't able to make it, for those that aren't able to make it, I'm going to be posting this, sending a recorded copy of this Zoom call to you for your future use. And I hope it prompts you to come to the next one. And as I mentioned, I'm really excited to be starting this program. The Think and Grow Rich program is something that I think that everyone needs to understand and go through at least once in their life. When I talk about the book Think and Grow Rich, a lot of people in my genre, and maybe down to people 10 years younger than me, say, "Oh yeah, I remember reading that book about 20 years ago." And I basically study it every day. And when I started doing this, it changed my life. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're going to have some fun. And we're also going to get a lot of good information that you can use to help your life. So over here in the chat, you'll notice that I've got the Mastermind assets. And in there are some links to the free book that I promised you and the free workbook from Nightingale Conant that I promised you in digital format. And as my gift, I have included a program called The Goal Achiever, and it's got 6 videos and a workbook. And so that's really for people that maybe are thinking about writing down their goals. Maybe you have goals, maybe they're out of date, maybe you need to start thinking about that again. But the book talks about from the very preface that having your definite major purpose defined is the key to starting this whole program. So what I want you to do is to go to that Goal Achiever asset and go through it and just get a sheet of paper and write down, follow the instructions and write down what some of the things are the most important to you that you want out of your life. And also I want you to do another thing. This is something that's critical that Bob Proctor taught me, is a goal card. Once you get that goal written, I want you to write a goal card. And it's a real simple thing because it's part of the auto-suggestion process to train your subconscious mind to focus on your goals. And it really does work. And so it's something that you should write out carefully. And I'll give you like a little template here for you. And so mine starts out by saying, "I'm so happy and grateful now that I have $25,000 per month in ever increasing amounts from multiple sources of income, starting September 1st, 2023. And I will provide services to people, teaching them the principles of Think and Grow Rich and working with those people to help them have better lives." So that's my goal card. That's what I'm doing with my life now. So there you go. I would like you to do that. And when you come back next time, I'd like you to basically have that all done. We're going to do these every Wednesday at the same time. And you'll be able to get a lot out of this program. So who am I? I'm Jim Wilkerson. I'm a Phoenix native, 3rd generation, with children and grandchildren, and my wife of 43 years. God bless her. And I was a financial advisor for over 30 years here in the Phoenix market, and then retired in somewhere around 2010, right after the last great crash. And the reason I left that business is that I just couldn't take it anymore. It was one of those things that I'd been through the Y2K, I'd been through the crash of 87, now that been the 2008, 2009 mortgage debacle. It was just, it's one of those things that when the market goes down in a big way and people's portfolio gets impacted, we're trained as financial advisors to say, "Hey, you're going to be fine, stick the course." But it's a tough thing to do. And a lot of people just can't handle it. And I guess I was one of those people. So I moved on, and I've done a number of different things, from working as a plan giving officer, taking my knowledge about trusts and how to make gifts, which was part of my comprehensive wealth management practice that I had with my clients. And then from there, I worked with a company here locally. A friend of mine invited me to come be his business development person. He'd never had one in 18 years. He was doing it all like typical entrepreneurs or small business owners who just can't let go of any of the processes and any of the decision making that goes on during the day. And we were successful in building his business up by doubling his revenue within 2 years. And at that point, which was his goal, is to sell it, he was able to sell it at a nice valuation because of that. So that got to be a lot of fun. And that's why I joined, basically why I joined My Biz Coaches. Eric at My Biz Coaches reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like you to join our team. We think you'd be a good fit, having a great financial background and being able to understand numbers and balance sheets from my financial analysis back in the day. And we're a 4-man team, and we work in the Phoenix market with typically with businesses under 50 employees and under 5 million in revenues, pairing them to get ready to sell in the same way that I just described to you from my friend's business. Most people, when they're getting ready to sell their business, they haven't really thought about positioning it properly to get maximum valuation. So that's me. Enough about that. Last summer, I went through a Napoleon Hill Institute certified instructor program. As I started reading this stuff, I was introduced to Bob Proctor right during the pandemic, and just got hooked on listening to his videos. And if you just go to YouTube and Google Bob Proctor or Proctor Gallagher Institute, you're going to get a lot of great information based on the book Think and Grow Rich. So here we are, and we're doing this program here today, and let's get started. Let's dive in. I want to share my screen here, and let's see, here we go. Okay, good. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's try this again. There's the stop share button down here. Here we go. Let's try that again. Excuse me. Bear with me, please. It's just going to take me a second to get this right. So here we go. That's the screen that I want. I want screen number 1. There we go. And there it is. Okay, I guess we were on the right one all the time. I just didn't notice it. So this is from the book Think and Grow Rich. In 10 minutes a day, as I mentioned, I'm going to just start out by reading the beginning of this because it'll give you some historical on how Napoleon Hill was able to put this program together by working with Andrew Carnegie. So let's get started and dive right in. And just keep in mind his whole premise is that the mind has thoughts are things, and if you can control your thoughts and direct them to a definite major purpose, you can achieve anything. And his tagline is, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And I know that because it's worked for me, and I know a lot of other people that have used it to get into their successes in life. So I'm going to start here on page 7 and just read it to you. Originally published in 1937, Think and Grow Rich helped end the Great Depression with its 13 steps to amass riches. It holds the keys to financial independence, harmonious relationships, power, happiness, fulfillment, and peace of mind. All forms of wealth can be yours if you're willing to pay the price, and that is to think, to enlarge your mind, take control of your thoughts, and leverage the power of the vast mental resources available to you in order to translate your greatest desires into their material equivalent. With Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes a day from that book, or just the book Think and Grow Rich, which you have a copy of now, you can fit that mental work into even the busiest schedule so you can make concrete progress in your success journey. I know Bob Proctor said that he studied the book Think and Grow Rich for over 57 years, and he literally would just read one chapter at a time. So each chapter of the book covers one of Hill's 13 success principles, carefully representing the core teachings. Read one chapter per day so that you can master each step to riches, and then go back to them periodically, allowing the necessary time and space to digest the ideas and application potential before progressing to the next one. So it's not just reading it, it's actually studying it. After reading each chapter, pause and consider the achievement principle you've just learned. Complete the action item in your workbook at the end of the chapter and in your workbook. And if you have time to spare, go back and reread the sections. And really just reflect about, what you've learned in that when you do that. So as Hill said, there's no point in having such a great potential for achievement unless you do something to convert it into actuality. And he mentions in the very preface of this book that there's a secret in the book. And if you read it, it'll come to you. But I'm just going to tell you the secret. The secret is to take action. We all know nothing happens. Ideas are great. What floats around in your head is great. But if you don't take action, nothing happens. So now it is a time for you to begin acting in earnest on your chief aim with the help of Hill's proven success program. So I'm going to go back and show you some of the chapters. The first one is desire, the first step to riches. We're going to cover that actually a little bit today because I wanted you guys to get the book and the workbook first. And I want you to read that chapter, and we'll talk about that in detail in our next meeting. So we're actually going to start the first chapter. Today is the intro, next week, and then we'll go through all 13 chapters. The second one is faith, auto suggestion, as I mentioned, with the help of your goal card and your written goals. Specialized knowledge. That is, you can't get anything without having specialized knowledge. We all know today is the world of specialization. And imagination, one of the most important things in the world. Organized planning, making sure that you have a plan to achieve your goals that you've written down. And this decision, I really love the chapter on decision because it talks about how, one of the things that Hill found out, was that he, when he interviewed 500 people who were referred to him by Andrew Carnegie, we'll talk about how that happened in a minute, that decision is one of the key factors that he found out. And of course, persistence. If you don't have persistence, nothing's going to happen, because nothing happens in the time frame that you think usually. All the business owners that we work with will all tell you, and if you're one of those, they'll tell you it took more money and more time than they thought when they started out. The mystery of sex transmutation, that's an interesting chapter we'll dive into. The subconscious mind, the 11th step to riches, and the brain. And we'll talk about all of these things. And the brain and the sixth sense, which is really your intuition. You ever had a flash of intuition just hit your brain? It's called the sixth sense, and we all have it. And then how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. There are ghosts of fear that we all share, and how to basically get through there. So the preface: man can create nothing for which he does not first conceive in the form of an impulse of thought. It's a hard thing to grasp, but this computer would have never been designed had it not been thoughts that came to the people that put it all together. So everything that we have in our world that we've created are as a result of our thoughts. And you can translate that into the fact that everything that you think about really defines who you are and what you do and how successful you are as well. We're going to talk about drifters, those that don't have goals. And that represents about 95% of the population. So if you can get through this, you're going to be in the top 5%. And I guarantee you're going to have a much better chance of actually putting those goals into concrete form and actually achieving them. So who's Napoleon Hill? He was born in 1883 in a one-room cabin on the Pound River in Wise County, Virginia. He began writing his career at age 13. He was a writer, as a publisher, and as a mountain reporter for a small town newspaper. In 1908, as a young special investigator for a nationally known business magazine, he was sent to interview the great steel magnate, Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie shared the secret that had enabled him to acquire his hundreds of millions of dollars, a magic law in the human mind, a little-known psychological principle that has this amazing power. At that time, Andrew Carnegie was the richest man in the world. He came here with nothing but a shirt on his back, and they built U.S. steel from the ground up without really not knowing much about how to make steel in the first place. So he believed that there's magic formulas that should be shared with those that did not have the time or resources to discover it on their own. So Carnegie asked Hill to spend 20 years or more developing his principle of the philosophy of personal success by interviewing these people. The research would be conducted without pay, and Carnegie merely provided Hill with access to over 500 of America's greatest business leaders in order to develop his success formula. In 1937, after 29 years of research and writing, Hill published Think and Grow Rich, which contains the 13 success principles that form the core of the science of success. Since its release, it has sold over 100 million copies worldwide. And this is without question, more millionaires, cultural icons, and thought leaders attribute their success to this book than any other. And if you run into one of those millionaires that's out there and ask him if he'd read Think and Grow Rich, he would probably tell you without hesitation that it helped. Converting obstacles into opportunity. Since he wrote it during the Great Depression, it's his original tagline was for men and women who resent poverty. In the 30s, there was the Great Depression going on. And he really wanted to write this to help people amass wealth, not just for the mere sake of it, but to provide people with encouragement and the tools to raise themselves out of poverty, because it was all around us in the United States and the world at the time. And while there's emphasis on financial prosperity, and Hill notes in his 13 principles of money making apply equally to acquiring other forms of wealth, including, enriching friendships, family wealth, family dynamics, strong business relationships, power, prestige, influence, understanding of self, and peace of mind. Having discovered through interviewing Carnegie and other self-made millionaires that there were principles that anyone, regardless of their level of education, resources, or skill set, could apply to become wealthy, Hill made it his life's purpose to share this information with the world. And as he writes his autobiography, I'm throwing out a lifesaver, so to speak, he says, to those who've been washed overboard in the waters of a restless, unsettled ocean of life, where so many occasions in the past, I have found myself struggling for rescue. I can relate to that. Think and Grow Rich is accredited with having helped end the Great Depression. And since then, it has enabled generations of individuals from around the globe to take control of their destiny and achieve success. And as I said, it's created more millionaires than any other program in the world, and does so by providing the mental strength to withstand temporary defeat with persistence in one of the chapters, such as rejection and misfortune. So it details the science of success, but it's also an art. So the art of converting defeat into stepping stones of opportunity. That's what this book is all about. As I mentioned, we talked about how to read this book, and we talked about how you can use it. He says here, another reading strategy suggested by Hill himself is to apply the Mastermind principle in chapter 9 and form book clubs. And guess what? That's why we're here today, is to learn about this through our book club. And once again, I'm so glad you're here. Such groups enable readers to benefit from not only the wisdom of others, but the collaboration that's involved. And, as we get more and more involved with each other and personalities, I'm sure we're going to be able to learn a ton from each other. So he goes on to talk about, how it's transformative. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. And I mentioned that earlier, remember? Bob Proctor talks about that a lot too. So anything the human mind can believe, the human mind can achieve. That's the supreme secret, along with taking action. And if you truly deeply believe you will have great wealth, then you'll have it. If you can see it in your mind, you could hold it in your hand. That's the whole idea. And if you can see a clear vision of what you want to be, who you want to be, and what you want to have, you can manifest it if you really, really want to, if you've got all the great plans to make it happen. So he has other books. He's the Master Key to Riches, which is an 8-part audio series, which is great. I have that when I went through the Napoleon Hill Institute instructor training. I am a certified instructor with the Napoleon Hill Institute. And actually, I went through I've gone through the courses, but I've got a couple more hoops to jump through before I'm actually awarded the certification process. So presenting this is part of that task. So here we are. We're going to give you the framework over the weeks. We're going to go through each chapter one by one, and we're going to go there. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen now and go back and share another screen. So I have a bunch of videos available to me. Where is it? Okay. All right, here we go. See that okay? Great, that's me. And this is my library. I want to go back to where it starts. I've got this portal from the Living the Legacy organization. If you want to learn more about that, I'll be happy to share it with you. This is one of the programs in there that's got all the videos, and I want to start by just playing one. Bob Proctor passed away in early 2021, and he's sorely missed around the world. He's changed lives everywhere, hundreds of thousands of people. He's one of the most dynamic speakers I've ever watched. I think that if nothing else, if you're into public speaking, you can learn just by watching him present on that YouTube channel that I talked about. So his brother Brian is talking about this program, Living the Legacy, and that's what we're doing here with this program. And as I said, I'm happy to share it with you so you can learn more about it if you like. But Brian's going to tell us a little bit about what to expect here.
You're about to meet an absolutely extraordinary individual. His name is Bob Proctor, and I am probably the next most fortunate person in the world because I'm his son.
Bill said the missing link in all systems of education known to civilization today may be found in the failure of educational institutions to teach students how to organize and use knowledge after they acquire it.
He's really, really passionate about everybody understanding the power that we have within us and how to use that. Build the picture of what you want. You can accept or reject all ideas that will not help you get. The thing that amazed me most was all the people that kept coming up to me, telling me how much my father changed their life, how their world was changed because they met him and learned from him. He's got a real passion for it. He certainly doesn't do it. He's 84 years old. He could retire and just live comfortably wherever, but this drives him. This adds years to his life. He loves teaching people. He loves watching the success stories. He actually picked up the book Think and Grow Rich in October of 1961, and I was born December of 1961. So my entire life I have seen him read that book, and the book that you see him hold, that is the book he was given back in 1961. You see him open it; it's tattered and torn, and he can pick that book up and literally open it anywhere and teach a very powerful lesson because he knows it inside out. And the cool thing is he lived those principles literally for 56, almost 57 years. I think the big thing to know is that he's lived it. He has gone through his life. He's struggled. He's had lots of times where things weren't working right, but he kept believing in those principles and he kept practicing. He never faltered on that once. And he is living a life now that most people dream about. And that is because he stuck to it and he lived that. So if you're new to this, you just want to listen to it and know that he's been through it. He's probably been exactly where you are, and he'll show you how to take these principles so that you can get out of the place you're at and actually get to where you'd like to be. I'm so grateful that you are going to actually get to meet him right now. You'll get to learn from him. You'll see what he's all about. And I think what you're going to discover over these 13 principles and how he teaches it is how you can really change your life, because he's changed his using these principles. He's a product of the material, and I don't think there's anybody that is more qualified to teach this than that guy.
Yeah, that's great. That's good stuff. The reason that I put this up here for you is because there's a video for every chapter in the book, and I will get you a copy of it. I'm not going to watch, have you watch the next one because it's 45 minutes long, which it's the intro from Bob Proctor. So I'll send that to you along with the link to this call, and then you'll have everything that you need. So in here is desire, faith, auto-suggestion. We'll go through this. What I want, I'll go ahead and record and send this to you as well. And then that way you can have watched it and actually read the book in the chapter, done your workbook, completed your goal card, and then we'll have watched this. And what I want to do is just come back and just discuss it in our next meeting, if that's okay. So that's kind of the process. We're going to do this week by week by week till we get completely through it. And in the interim, if you have any questions about any of this, please call me or email me. I am happy to work with you in any way, and we can just all grow together. That's the whole idea. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this bigger. Okay. All right. Okay. Stop the share. There we go. Okay, better. What I'll do is I'll put the information in an email to you when we're all done. and we can just go from there. So this is a great start. I'm glad you're here. We're going to watch the intro video from Bob before next week's meeting, same time, same place. We will be discussing the chapter of desire, and I want to ask you to show us how you're doing on your goals and what your goal card says on it. So in the interim, anything that you would like to have answered, let me give you my email, and that way you'll have it, and then you can reach out with any questions. Jim@jlwilkerson.com. So I look forward to your comments. That's a great start, kind of a short meeting today, but that's okay. And another thing, if you wouldn't mind, just tell me if you think that this is a good time and what time would work better for you. Or if you'd rather just watch the replays, that's fine too. Happy to do that. I'll reach out to every single one of you with this information, as I promised. So we'll just go from there. So anything else that we can talk about today? There again, it's going to be based on that first chapter in desire. It's a starting point of all riches. So don't forget to read that information and get back to me. These classes will be a little longer because I think what we're going to be able to do is have some Q&A and collaboration for at least a half an hour. I think if 63 people signed up for this. So anybody who else that continues to come to this and likes it, then we'll be able to collaborate and learn from each other. It'll be kind of a networking opportunity as well. So once again, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, thanks.